Hi, welcome to Rajal Night. Today I'm making a video. The reason behind making this video is to give a clear understanding over the career roadmap of a business analyst because I usually conduct regular trainings, coachings for the business analyst people, whoever is looking for career transformation. Because as we all know, business analyst is a kind of career who provide solutions for any customer requirements. So this is nothing to do with any technology. This is nothing to do with any domain. Irrespective of technology and the domain, role of a business analyst is to understand the requirements of any customer and providing subsequent solutions. This is what generally the role of a BA. Now, as in when nowadays people who are working for IT, especially who are working in the field of development, testing, right? So who are worked for a very long time to have a career change for different reasons to explore in other areas and all. Some people are moving towards business analyst. This is all based on my observation, based on my experience, what I had interacted with hundreds and hundreds of people for a very long time. So some people who are into the field of IT, as I mentioned you, whether they worked as a developers or testing, right? So these people wants to move their career towards business analysis side so that they will have some stakeholder interaction experience, right? So exploring more about different domains, right? So this is one kind of people. Second, people who are working for non-IT side, people who are working in non-IT. So those people also want to get into the field of IT so that they need to have a career to enter into the IT. For example, a person who is having experience in the banking sector for a very long time. Assume that he or she has around 10-15 years of experience. Now they want to switch over career towards IT field with their domain experience. How should they move into the IT? Because this is where generally BA role is something more useful because this is an entry to the IT industry, especially for the people who are looking for career transition. Right? So, in regard to that, by just keeping all these into consideration, as I have spoken to hundreds and hundreds of people on my career all these years for more than 20 years plus. So I want to give a clear understanding about the career roadmap for a business analyst who wants to enter, and after business analyst experience and all, what are the different career options people have. Okay, so for that I'm making this video. This video may be little long, not in general. It can be something long as it requires. So please have a patience to listen this video till the end of it. Right. So first of all, business analyst roles. First of all, let me explain the roles of a BA in IT, in the field of IT, as well as in non-IT as well. And this is all based on my experience, what I had in these years. I'm giving you my suggestions. This is completely my experience, which I'm sharing to the people who are having in a confusion where they will be in a road. They are in the crossroads where they are unable to take suggestions or take decisions on how to move further, right? So this is all out of my experience and all everything. I'm giving these suggestions. There may be some little changes might be there, but that can be better, right? So this is right. So when it comes to the role of an IT business analyst, usually if you take IT companies, I'm segregating this into two. Of course, there will be very different, but IT company, non-IT. I'm just making it in two different areas so that you guys can understand very well. IT companies means, again, it can be service-based or project-based companies. Second is product-based companies. Okay. Product-based, right? So one is about service-based company and second is a product-based company. Yeah. Right. So service-based and product-based. Service-based companies means who provide solutions to a particular customer. Okay. This is where generally service-based companies are come into picture. Now, for these service-based organizations, they require an intermediary who can understand the requirements, who can understand the business problem and requirements of a particular client. For this reason, they need a BA. Okay. Now, what kind of skill set they want to acquire? First of all, they require functional skills. They require skill set. Required is as follows. What kind of skill set? First of all, first is domain or functional skills. Functional skills, right? So what are the functional skills in, for example, healthcare, right? Healthcare, banking. In this banking again, if you can go in deep into that, retail banking and investment banking. Okay, I'm making it as detailed as I can, and I may miss something. Okay, next is financial services domain. Financial services, stock markets, etc. Right? So all this is one. Next, if you can go in deep into that, there is another domain called payments. Like payments means either it can be international transfers like SWIFT, SEPA, right? So that sort of understanding, right? So this is payments related stuff. Next is insurance domain, right? When you talk about insurance, normally we call it as P&C insurance, means property and casualty insurance. We call it as property and casualty insurance means general insurance, life, annuity, right? So these are the different kind of insurances we have. Next, travel domain. Travel, telecom. Okay. Next, e-commerce. Okay. Etc. So they want, first of all, people, anyone usually, because it depends on the kind of customer. Let's say, for example, customer is from the banking domain. So companies want a person having business analyst skill sets. What are the skill sets BA required? That I will tell you later. Okay. Apart from the business skill sets, what is that they require? They require some domain experience. Either that can be for healthcare, it can be banking, financial services, all that. Now, which is this part to whom it is useful? For example, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, people who are looking for a career in the field of IT, who are coming from non-IT. Let's say an X is an individual or a lady, he or she, having experience in the field of banking, back-end operations for a very long time. Now they want to switch over to the career towards IT. This is where those kind of people are useful because acquiring domain knowledge or domain experience is not something possible in a day or two or a month or two, usually, practically speaking, because domain is very larger. Again, in domain, we don't have every experience, right? So, for example, a person is having experience in the field of banking, doesn't mean that they will be knowing about everything, right? So they may have experience only in the retail banking sector or investment banking or any one or any two, right? So they may not be having experience in all these areas. So domain experience is one of the skill sets which organizations see. This is point number one. Second, IT skills. IT skills. IT skills. IT skills means, I can say the first one is about SQL, right? So technical business analyst. This is the roles generally will be mentioned in the organizations like technical BA, business systems analyst, right? Business technical analyst, business application analyst, different roles they mention, right? So means a person having business analyst skill set with technical knowledge. So what kind of technical knowledge? So there is no specific parameter for technology. Let's say, for example, an organization is working on some CRM applications, some Dynamics or for example, some some Salesforce, right? So some domain experience, some CRM application they are working. Now they want an individual having experience of business analyst with some technical application. Like for example, they may have a person having experience in Salesforce CRM or Dynamics or SAP, right? So technology, when you're talking about the role of a business analyst to learn technical means there is no barrier, there is no parameter for that. Depends on the kind of industry they belongs to, depends on the kind of role. This is all something will be varied. Okay, understand this point. So when you talk about IT skill sets, but common IT skill sets, I'm writing here. Okay, because if you're talking about IT, there are a lot many things which practically won't be possible for a person to acquire knowledge, all these. But basic common skill sets I'm mentioning. One is about SQL, because SQL will be used to extract queries, etc. All that. Next is either it can be Tableau or Power BI, because this is all for data visualization purpose I'm saying. These are the two basic skill sets. So one is SQL, second is Tableau or Power BI. Next, if you are going into the more senior roles, technical BA roles and all more, they may be expecting a person having experience, must be having experience in API. Creating APIs, it can be SOAP, it can be RESTful API, all that. At the same time, people having experience over microservices or knowledge over microservices is also something people will expect from us, right? This is also there. So API microservices. Next, maybe some knowledge over XML, because different file formats will be there, like XML, JSON, right? So different file formats required. So that is also one of the aspect which people may expect. At the same time, any programming language, this is optional, because see, I'm not mentioning that you need to have a programming knowledge for sure. I don't say that, but some depends on the profile to profile. Some people ask, right? So don't generalize this for every profile, which is not something mandatory for all. Right? Any programming language, like for example Java, right? So and Python, all that. Now here is a question many people can ask, right? So what is the difference of Java to Python? Java is a programming language majorly used for the web application kind of web client server enterprise applications and all. We go for Java. People, whoever is having area of data rights, data related, data management or data science, data analysis, right? So these sort of projects are there, right? Data related projects, all that. So for those people require Python. That is the difference. Okay. So web applications, client server, enterprise applications. These people required a person having knowledge over Java. Person whoever wants to have experience in the field of data sciences, right? So for example, their projects are working on data science, data management, all these, then Python is something which is useful to them, right? So Python is something they require, right? So these are the skill sets. Of course, there were a lot many, but I'm just mentioning very few. Because as I mentioned a couple of times earlier also, profile to profile, IT skill sets and all everything will be varied. Okay, this is one. Now, the third one about application skills. Application skills again will also be varied. Okay, again I'll give you. For example, if an organization is from CRM, for example, right? Normally prominent tools, prominent applications like Salesforce, MS Dynamics, etc. Right? If it is from the Salesforce, it is from the CRM side I'm talking about. If they are from ERP side and all, people may require some knowledge over SAP, all that. Now, when it comes to domain related, for example, US healthcare system and all, they may be required in person should have an experience over Facets application or QNext, or else Health Edge, right, etc. Health Edge, etc. Right. So these are all something. Now, if it is property and casualty insurance, there are applications like Guidewire, Duck Creek, right, etc. Right. Next, if it is banking related, core banking applications are there, right? So core banking applications like Finacle. So right, so Finacle, etc. Or these are all core banking related stuff, right? So this is Finacle. Hmm. Okay, right. So Finacle, etc. Right. So these are the different application skills. So I'm not mentioning for one profile, all these are required. So depends on the kind of profile what they were. So these sort of thing. This is a larger context of. So because I'm making a video for everyone, right? So by keeping everyone into an account, the reason I'm explaining this to you. Okay, this is what generally the skill sets. I may be missing few in this, right? So because because as this is a video, I'm making it in stat because I'm getting a lot of inquiries and all, right? So this is what, right? So this is product based, service based, and all. Even product based also, whatever the skill set I have mentioned you on about to that is common, right? Common, that is one thing. But people should have a knowledge over product management. Product management, like for example, product requirement identification. Okay, right? So product strategy, implementation, right? Before that, understanding about goal, product goal and vision, right? These are something which we call it as product based, means product based companies, apart from the skill sets which I was mentioned you about to that. Apart from that, right? It's not excluding, apart from that. So they should have an experience over product based. So this is where somewhere this kind of role, somewhere they expect a person has having experience in business analysis with product owner. This is where generally there is a role, especially in agile environment, whenever we are working on, there is a role called product owner. Right? So because product owner responsibility is to define the goal and vision of the product by writing epics user stories, right? So this is where it comes into picture. Even services also, there is a role of product owner. If a project is working on agile environment, all that, right? So this is where generally product based stands for product based companies, all that, right? So these are the things, right? So this you need to learn. Now, about to that, I must tell you what kind of skill set a business analyst is required. These are the generally these skill sets will be called as knowledge areas. So knowledge areas, right? So knowledge areas like business analysis, planning and monitoring. Next, elicitation, and collaboration. Next is illustration and collaboration. Next, earlier it is called enterprise analysis. Now we are calling it as strategy analysis. These are all prescribed by IAB. So enterprise or strategy analysis. Next, requirement life cycle management. Next, requirement analysis and design definition. Next, solution assessment and validation. Okay, these are the knowledge areas one should have, like understanding requirements, writing down the requirements documents, right? All that, right? So if we follow the traditional application development, right? Something like waterfall, all that, right? So waterfall, all that, we prepare different documents like BRD, SRS, functional and non-functional requirements, all that, okay? We prepare it. At the same time, writing use cases, right? So you next user stories, UML items, right? All these, right? So this is all something which generally you need to have. Next, if you follow the agile area, right? So agile environment, if you are following, we need to have a knowledge over epics, writing epics, user stories, right? So create and maintaining product backlog, etc. Right? So for this again in extension, either you need to have an experience on Jira. Some people uses Jira. So right? Some people use Azure DevOps. For example, some projects are working on DevOps environment. They maybe use a tool called Azure DevOps. Right? So this is all project management come bug tracking tools, I can say. Azure DevOps Jira. But Azure Jira is completely into that. Azure DevOps means even DevOps combination where if they want to create any kind of data pipelines for the project, right? For all that. So at the same time, we have one more tool called Rally, etc. Right? So we have not many, of course, I'm just mentioning, right? So this is it. This is where generally the skill sets required for a PA. Now, IT companies, this is what generally the skill sets, either it can be product based or project based on. Now, there will be some opportunities we get even non-IT companies also, right? Non-IT companies means healthcare organizations, banks, right? So all that. So non-IT companies, I'm naming few, okay? I'm not naming any, all these healthcare organizations or payer side. Payer side means insurance companies or CMS, right? So CMS, like Center for Medicaid Services, right? So who manages Medicare and Medicaid things and all, right? So that is one thing. Or it can be banks, right? So banks, financial institutions, right? So e-commerce based companies, right? So all these are comes under non-IT side, right? So why they required BA? Because they have their own IT team, IT or IT teams, they have their own IT departments and they manage their applications, right? So their internal applications will be managed by them, am I right? Right. So because let's say, for example, if you take bank uses different, for example, 4 applications they are using for different purposes. One CRM, ERP, or else payroll management. It can be in core banking applications. So these applications, some applications, they will get it from the customers, from the vendors from outside. Those products they can use, or else they can make their technical team to develop their own applications internally. So they required a business analyst. So even non-IT companies, because don't confuse here. For example, if there is a role you can see in the job portal like business analyst, I required. For example, company is a bank, right? So some people, I'm not generalizing this for everyone. Some people will confuse why banks or financial institutions required BA, because we thought of BA job is in IT companies, right? Because every organization will have an IT department. So usually what they do, whatever the managing of their application systems, everything will be managed by them only. Within the organization only they manage. So they have their own IT team and all. So when they have IT team, they require a BA, right? On that context. Right. So again, this you can connect here, right? So for example, these applications, for example, these application skills I told you, right? So these sort of applications they may be using in this organization. So a person having experience, so they require these skills also. Apart from that, these skills, right? So any one or any two, right? So all that, right? So this is where generally the career. So especially for IT companies or non-IT companies, if a business analyst wants to acquire, means if you want to become a business analyst and all, you require to have a knowledge over functional skills, point number one. Second, IT skills. Second is application skills. Again, I'm generalizing, I'm not specifying this. This is not something required for every profile. The reason why, whenever you are applying for job opportunities, my kind advice for anyone, see, train yourself, prepare your CV, apply for job opportunities. Don't prepare CV and then, because I have seen many people, because I cannot say, uh, because I have seen many people when I have spoken to the people, they come up with a resume. And whatever the training they have undergone, whatever is there in the resume, there is not at all a connect, right? So what they learn is 10%. And what was there in the CV was 100%. So they put everything, right? So they put everything in their CV. 100% is because some people comes because out of curiosity, because I cannot complain anyone. Of course, end of the day, job requires for people, right? So that is their deserve. I don't comment on it. See, 100% see, if you're preparing some resume, which is not something nowhere related for you, and just coming blindly, coming that, keeping that resume and asking someone to train on that resume, practically it is not possible. See, I shouldn't, being in professional, having more than 23 years of experience, I shouldn't say anything wrong, right? So no mismanagement, right? So no misguidance, right? I don't want to misguide anyone. So first of all, understand and be in reality. Don't be in illusions. Okay. My advice, this is my personal advice to the people. So see, what they learn is 10%. What is there in resume is 100 to 120, 150%. They put everything. What is there in the market, they put in the CV and they try to apply for the business or job opportunities. Unfortunately, they couldn't succeed because they know is 10%. What they know is what is there in the CV is different. So learning all these, is it possible? Because that is not something, the skill set which is required, which is yours. I know that, right? Everybody knows. So that sort of things don't, right? So if you want to transform your career, plan in such a way what kind of skill sets you have earlier and in what way these skill sets are useful to you when you are transforming into BA. What kind of skill set I want to learn? Then you prepare your CV according to the learning what you have done. See, 20-30% exaggeration as per the industry, if we are keeping means, okay, because that is negligible, because it depends on the industry needs, right? So we have to apply, right? So there may be some deviation because of their needs and all everything. It is acceptable, right? So to an extent possible. Officially, it is not, but it's acceptable. But learning 10% and when it comes to CV, you are just mentioning everything and you are failing in interviews means that at the end of the day, that is of that is wrong of yours because you learned 10% and what is there in the CV, what you are presenting on your name will be 100, 150%. There are high chances that we fail in interviews, right? So that sort of mistake, please don't do because we're all professionals, we know, right? So how to frame our career, how to build and plan your career. Some sort of practical understanding is required always. End of the day, I can understand the eagerness of getting job, but end of the day, practical reality also we have to understand always from the employer side. Think from an employer, right? So for example, if I'm an employer, what is that I see? I want some person who are having this kind of XYZ skill sets, right? Nothing wrong in from employer side. But when we are applying for opportunities, my kind advice to the people is that please don't do that, right? So first of all, whatever you learn, first of all, keep in mind what you are, what skill set you have, to what extent you want to transform, in what way when you are building your career into business analysis, these skill sets are useful. Where are the gaps? Based on that, train yourself, prepare your CV, then apply for jobs. This is the right way of doing this. It takes time, right? So it may be 1 month, 2 months, it will be delayed, right? But when you go into the market, go 100%. because I have seen many people, what they learned is different. I don't comment, but usually this is sometimes I feel very uh, I feel very because what should I say to them, right? So because they learn 10%. What is there in the CV in the market which they have published was 100, 150%. No way comparison. So end of the day, either you have to learn all these skill sets or you have to edit the resume. Any one you have to do, right? So please don't do those kind of mistakes. It's my sincere advice to you guys. Please don't take it otherwise. Okay, yeah, again, coming back to this is where generally the thing is. Now, apart from now, this is all something when people are applying for career roadmap for a BA, all that. Now, for example, a person who is having experience in the business analyst role. Now, what kind of career I want to move in? Roadmap for the people who wants to move from business analyst career, right? What kind of opportunities I have? Okay, this is one more point I would like to mention. Right? Business analyst. To next roles. What could be the next roles I have? Right. So this is one question because many people asks me the reason I'm saying. Right. So what after business analyst? There are roles like you can move into project management side. Either it can be either you have to learn either you need to have a traditional project management experience or agile project management experience you need to have. This is one thing. Next, you can move towards product management side. Next, you can move towards Scrum Master roles, or else you can move towards product owner roles. As of now, this is right. So as of now, right, what instantly I'm preparing this video, right? Right. So these are the areas, right? So where these are the areas where we can switch our career immediately, right? So it means next career plan is this. This is how we can move on. Again, nowadays in Scrum Master, people are asking to have a knowledge over Agile Scrum. Some people are following Kanban practices, right? So this is also there. And now organizations are moving towards larger area. This is where we call it a scaled agile stance. Right? So understanding about scale agile is something essentially required. Scaled agile, we call it as enterprise level transformation, but make sure if you have a strong knowledge over agile scrum and all, then scaled agile framework is useful to you because scaled agile framework is for the larger audience, right? Larger organizations and all. Whoever is applying for scrum master jobs and all everything, they're asking some organizations also asking whether do you have safe experience or not. So acquiring this is not something easy. So, but make sure because everything keeping all these is not something wise enough to do it. So this is product management or project management, Scrum Master, product. These are the different roadmaps which we can transform our career. Understood, clear, right? So this is how generally a career roadmap any business analyst wants to pursue their career and all, they have to plan accordingly, right? I'm not giving any conclusion, 100% conclusion, because depends on the person, what experience he has earlier, and what is that he wants to become is different from one to another. But if people who are in the state of confusion, because this is a video I'm making especially for the people who are in the state of confusion, how to move further, right? So that sort of confusion, many people are, right? So for that reason, as I've spoken to hundreds of people in for last couple of years and even thousands, even more than also more than I don't want to exaggerate with it. So not interested, right? So what I have spoken in last my 23 years of my career, what I understand, it is wise enough because most of the people is in the state of confusion. So this video is something an eye opener to the people, right? So when they were building their career, because end of the day, this is our career, right? So we want to make it fruitful for ourselves, for our as well as for our dependents, etc. So I hope this video will give you and clear understanding about the roadmap about BA career and what about after BA, all that, right? So this is all about this video. I hope this is out of my professional experience and my personal suggestion to you guys. All the best. So when you are applying for job opportunities, I'm expecting you a bright future in all your future endeavors. Best of luck. Thank you.